I'm at work right now, and it's not that I'm depressed. I'm in a great mindset, but I've had a lot on my mind recently, and I just feel like I need to spit it. And I might be able to spit it on a song, but I think that it might be better if I just record it and just have my voice, because it's almost poetry. I mean, that's if you strip back my essence and look at my very soul and look at my very being, in my most basic form, I am a poet. In my most instinctual form, I am a wordsmith. You know, if you strip back my layers of skin, my layers of flesh, my layers of anything, and just look at my soul, my spirit, my pure purple light is how I like to see in myself within me, as this beautiful, vibrant purple light. If you look at that and ask me in my most basic, purest form, who are you? I'm a poet. That's just who I am. That's just how I'm built. You may say I'm built different. I'm built as a poet. That's what I was born to be, and that's what I'll stay. Till the day I die, I'll be a poet. I always have been. That's my destiny. I don't know. So I found out that my spirit animal, or whatever you want to call it, I'm not sure what I would call it even, but I found out that I can be represented as a raven. And I thought at first, well, that's horrible, that's bad luck. You know, ravens are often associated with bad luck. But a quick Google search and a quick thought in my head, a quick word from God told me that, you know, ravens aren't necessarily a bad animal. They're birds and they can fly freely, but what it represents is insight and prophecy and knowledge. So, I mean, you take that into consideration, and me being a poet makes a lot more sense than it would if I just told you I was a poet. I am just a poet. I mean, don't think of me of anything better, anything less. I don't care what you think of me as, but in my most basic form, I am a poet, and in my most basic form, I am exactly like you. Strip us all back, strip away our skin, and open us up, we'll all look the same. I mean, if you strip back those layers, like I was saying earlier, and look at our souls, look at our spirits, look at our most basic forms, we might even be the same color. We might be a different color. But even then, we're still human. We still have those exact same essence. We still have that. It's still the same, just a different color, just a different occupation. We're all the same. And I don't know, I've been thinking about spiritual manifestation a lot too. I mean, you know, they say that you become a product of your environment, and I agree with that, but only to an extent, because it is very easy to become a product of your environment. I mean, you can do that. I mean, that will happen to literally almost anybody. If you are around what you are around, it will rub off on you and you will become it. But on the same token, I feel like you can also make your environment a product of you just by manifesting. If you are in a terrible environment and you are agreeing with that evil and you are agreeing with that negativity, then that's what you're manifesting into yourself. You're manifesting what your environment wants you to. You gotta take control of that. I'm not saying that anyone can get out of any situation, because they can't. I mean, it would suck. I mean, not everyone can get out of that situation, but it's all about manifestation. I mean, you cannot always get out of a bad situation, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you manifest something great, if you manifest something glorious, if you manifest something positive and not evil, something that is righteous, then you might there's a chance, and it's a pretty good chance, your environment will become a product of you. I mean, the people around you might start to act like you, just because of how you're manifesting, just because of how you're praying, just because of how you're meditating, just because of how you're acting, even just because of you. If you crack jokes and you're a funny guy or a funny gal or funny they, them, funny however you identify, then they might just begin to be nicer, you know? I mean, that doesn't apply to every situation. I understand that, and it's much easier to become a product of your environment than to have your environment become a product of you, because to have your environment become a product of you, you got to be really strong. You got to be committed to manifesting what you want to manifest, and you got to be consistent with it. You got to push through on those rough times, you know? I believe that every single one of you is strong. I believe that every single one of you can make it. Don't ever give up, no matter what they tell you, no matter what your situation is. Try and never give up. Hang on. I pray for every single one of you. I'm in this state of my life right now where I'm just trying to self-reflect and look at how far I've come. I am self-reflecting. I am looking inward and looking at myself. I am trying to understand myself better, and for the worse. That's a double-sided or a double-edged sword, I guess, but it's possible. I'm going to continue this memo now. Yeah, I mean, looking inwards and finding yourself. Spoiler alert, if you're trying to find yourself, the conclusion that you'll come to is that you can't. It's like trying to step into the same river twice. You can step into that same river. You can step into that same river, but it'll never be the same exact river that you stepped in before. Finding yourself and finding your true self is just like that. You're changing. You're a liquid being. You're a plasma in a sorts. You are not a solid. You are fluid. You are plastic, I guess. Not literal plastic, but the definition of what plastic is. You are soft and malleable. You are liquid. You will always be changing. No matter what stage of your life you're in, you might look in the mirror and say, this is it. This is where I'm at. This is my final stage. You will always grow more. Even if you're dead, you will go beyond, and you will no longer be in that final stage. I believe in that. I think that is right. I think that is true. But you will never be in a final stage. You will always continue growing. And then there's one last thing I wanted to talk about in this memo. I'm gonna stop telling you guys and people what I mean in my songs. I'm gonna stop telling you guys the messages that I'm trying to send in my songs. And there's a good reason behind that. That is because I feel like I am a poet. Like I said previously, that's what I am in my most basic form. And if I'm a poet, this is what I want to, this is the way that I want to take it. I want you guys to listen to my songs, and I want you guys to really listen to my songs. I want you guys to take the messages your own unique way. And I want that to be unique for almost every person. Yeah, sure, you guys might take it the same way. Like, two people might have the same opinion, but it'll vary from person to person most of the time. So that's what I want. I want you guys to really rest on my words. I want you guys to really sleep on my words and hang on my words, because that's what poetry is to me. That's what it is. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Just really rest on my words. Try to understand them, not as how I meant them, because that's my own unique and personal way of taking my own words and manifesting them into what I wanted. But I want you guys to manifest my words into yourself, and they'll take it the way you want to take it. And I will tell you right now, my words will never be negative or to hurt anyone. I will never diss. I will never hurt anyone through my music. But yeah, always just take it That's all I gotta say.